ओम महागणपतये नमः। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः, व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि, त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि, त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि, त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि, त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि, त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं। ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अववक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानूचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवचोर्ध्वात्तात् अवाधरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः, त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः, त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि, त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि, त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि। सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते, सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति, सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति, सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति। त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः, त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि, त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः, त्वमवस्थात्रयातीतः, त्वं देहत्रयातीतः, त्वं कालत्रयातीतः, त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं, त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः, त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं। त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं इन्द्रस्त्वं अग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः स्वरोम्। So we were looking at Ganapati as the one who is manifest as everything. So here, starting with Tvang Vangmayaha, okay, Chinmayaha, Anandamayaha. So all this Maya means what? Mayat is actually a pratyaya or a suffix in Sanskritam. It can come in two meanings actually. Mayat, vikarartha, prachuryartha, like that. Vikara means modification. Prachurya means something which is predominantly having something, okay? Predominance or abundance of something, filled with something called. So this mayat suffix, once it comes, the word becomes mayaha. It will end as mayaha. For example, we say that, let us say there is a flood. Then we can say there is everywhere there is water, jalamaya. So there is an abundance of water, or predominantly water is there everywhere. Even though other things are there, but mainly water is there everywhere. Wherever you see water is there, jalamaya. Or in other cases like annamaya, body itself is called annamaya. That is because your body is nothing but a modification of the food you eat, correct? You eat the food. All the idlis and vada and bread and whatever you eat, all the bagels and pizzas, whatever it is, that only then becomes your body, okay? So it is a modification of the food you eat. So anna vikara. So like this, in both meanings, this maya can be used, okay? Or even sometimes they say even yajna, annamaya yajna, like that also sometimes they use. There again, it is not a modification, but it is like where there is lot of annadana somebody is doing, correct? that kind of a yajna where a lot of food is distributed can be even called Annamaya Yajna, where predominantly food is being distributed as a form of yajna. Like this mayat pratyaya can be used in both ways, filled with or modification meaning. So here we have to take according to the context. Okay, so Vangmaya, Chinmaya, Anandamaya. So all the things which are there here, it's all only Ganapati. That is the understanding. So all the forms of speech, Vangmaya means we can take it like that. Speech and its modifications are all, you can take it as Ganapati only. And all conscious activity can be taken off as modification of awareness or sentiency. All the sentient beings are, and their modifications can be taken as Ganapati, again Chinmaya. And all forms of happiness which you experience, correct? Happiness itself, there are many degrees are there. Okay. All of them are nothing but you are the source of all happiness, really. You are the Ananda Swarupa. But whatever happiness, sukha we experience in life, it is all nothing but a modification of that Ananda which is you, really. The Ananda, all the source of happiness is not separate from you. So even that in the worldly transactions, if we take, whenever you see something which is desirable, correct, then you have certain priya is there, correct. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad, this Anandamaya is talked about as priya, moda and pramoda, and ananda in general also. So this priya means what? If you look at something which is desirable, whatever you experience is called priya. It is pleasing to you, whatever is desirable. You like somebody, you look at that person, you feel good, correct? You feel pleased to see somebody whom you really like. Then moda means you attain whatever you desire. On attaining, you desired for a great house, let us say. So initially you are only able to look at the house. Okay. The house is available somewhere, but you are not able to purchase it. But even looking at it, you feel happy. That is one level of happiness. But then someday you earn enough to buy that house. That is moda. So you know you have attained whatever you desired. Then pramoda means ecstasy. You have also now entered your house. Okay. You have done your griha pravesha, entered, and now you are enjoying yourself from your favorite balcony or bedroom or whatever. That is pramoda. You are ecstatic. Of course, all these things do not last forever. Okay? That is why they are all modifications of that ananda, anandamaya. But that anandamaya also is nothing but Ganapati only. It's a manifestation of Ganapati. Brahmamaya. So everything here is nothing but a manifestation of Brahman. So here, that whatever is there here, all that which is, since it is mayat is there, Brahma Mayaha means here, Brahman means, comes from the root Brihi Vriddhau, means that which is very, very big. Or even Vriddhau means growing also, like that there is a meaning, growth, big, grown. So Brahma Maya means that which is expanding also we can take the meaning. All that is here is expanding universe itself is nothing but Ganapati. But the reality of this Ganapati is what? Ganapati is really Sachidananda and Advitiya also. Although all these modifications we see here, they are all really Mithya. What is Satyam? Is Ganapati alone. Like even in the world of clay, there are many names and forms are there. In one way, you can say they are all modifications of clay, correct? Pot is a modification of clay. Plate is a modification of clay. Tumbler is a modification of clay. You can make so many things out of clay. Or gold. Let us take gold otherwise. In the world of gold, bangles are a modification of gold, correct? Then chain is a modification of gold. Earring is a modification of gold. Like this, n number of jewelry are there. All of them are modifications of gold. But in reality, gold is gold, correct? From the standpoint of gold, there is no jewelry or anything. If you look at it as gold, there is only gold. It doesn't matter what name and form it is really in. From the standpoint of gold, if you look at it as gold, there is only gold. There is no other second thing is not there really. Everything is really gold. If you touch the jewelry, you are actually touching the gold. If you weigh it, only gold is the weight of that is really gold only, correct? So what is there substantive is really gold alone is there. So when we say Advitiya, non-dual, that's what you have to understand. Non-duality means it doesn't mean that you have to destroy duality to arrive at non-duality. It is only a shift in the way you look at it. You don't have to stop the wave to appreciate it as water, correct? Duality is only an appearance. It is mithya. It is dependent reality. See, whatever is only name and form and depends on for its very own existence on something else. It doesn't have an existence of itself. The jewelry doesn't really exist. In fact, what exists is gold. It is only borrowing its existence from gold. So such things are all called mithya. Their reality is dependent on something else. They are only names and forms, we say. What really exists is gold alone. That alone is there without a second. So like this, Ganapati is presented as both as the one who is manifest as whatever you are seeing here in this world, and also the reality of this world itself. When you look at the world, when you transcend all the names and forms and look at it, still what you see is Ganapati only, because Ganapati is Sachidanandam, Sachidananda Brahman Advitiyaha. Like this, Ganapati was presented, and also Ganapati is Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and all that. Pratyaksham Brahma, see all these things we saw. In fact, we saw up to this point, correct? So Ganapati is presented as Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and all that. So the one, the creator, the sustainer, and the one into whom all these names and forms resolve. But especially also Tvayi Pratyeti, like that extra one more line is there. That is because, so that is where Ganapati is presented again as the transcendental reality. So if you look at and analyze all these names and forms, what you really see is they are only appearances. If you look at their reality, if you analyze, what is there is only Ganapati. They will all resolve into Ganapati only, the ultimate reality. So that is somewhat true even in scientific pursuit also. You keep on reducing things. you first talk about pot. Pot is nothing but clay. Clay is nothing but molecules. Molecules is nothing but atoms. Atoms are nothing but subatomic particles. And they are further, they can be either particles or waves and all that. Again, it becomes more complicated at that level. But finally, everything requires an observer. Observer only has to collapse the quantum system, like that even scientists are talking about. So it actually resolves into the conscious observer. Although the science does not talk about the nature of that observer, they even have paradoxes around that. Okay, but still you can understand that it is all resolving into a conscious being. Although in our normal understanding we think that the objective world is different from me, who is a subject. So there is a subject object division is there, and without any analysis this division of subject and object is taken to be real. But if you analyze it, actually there is no real division. There is only one reality which is the basis for both the subject and object. In one reality, which is a conscious being, which is you really, only the subject object are appearing. So that is what we have to understand. So that's why here Ganapati is presented as everything. So Ganapati, in whichever model you look at the world, okay, Ganapati is all. That's what is presented here beautifully. Because different darshanas present the world differently. If you take Taittiriya Upanishad itself presents this 5 elemental model. So tasmad va etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayor agnihi agnerapaha adhyah prithvi. Like this, there is a 5 elemental model, and so the world is looked upon as akasha, space, vayu, wind you can take, agnihi, fire, apaha, all waters or all liquids, prithvi, all the solids or earth. So like this 5 elemental model, in our 5 elemental model, not only the physical world is covered, even the subtle world or mind, whatever we call mind and life, prana, all these things are also taken into account in that. That's why there is a concept of panchikaranam. Different elements of these, in fact, each of these elements are further looked upon as having sattva, rajas and tamo guna, and different proportions of these are taken and they are mixed to arrive at different things in the creation. Like this, the creation is looked upon. So you can subscribe to this view of creation, but even then what you have to understand, all these things, bhumihi, earth, apaha, all the waters, analaha, which is fire, anilaha, which is wind, nabhaha, akasha, all these things are Ganapati only. They are all manifestations of Ganesha. Correct? So if you subscribe to the 5 elemental model of creation, then also Ganapati is the one, because anyway it starts tasmad va etasmad atmana, Brahmatma only has become Akasha. Like this Upanishad itself is very clear that Brahmatma is nothing but Ganapati here. Then another way of looking at the world, or whatever, at least the world of sounds, okay, let us say, is what Chatvari Vakpadani. So there are 4 types of Vak is there. Okay, speech and words. What are they? In fact, Rigveda itself talks about it. Chatvari Vak Parimita Padani Tani Vidur Brahmanaha Ye Manishinaha Guha Trini Nihita Nengayanti Turiyam Vacho Manushya Vadanti. Like this, Rig Veda is saying Brahmanas who are wise, Manishinaha, they know of 4 types of speech. Okay. Okay, they talk about these Brahmanas who are wise, they know about 4 types of speech. And 3 of them are not really are not manifest. Okay, you cannot hear the sound. So they are guha nihitani. They are hidden, you can say. Okay. And the 4th one is the manifest sound, the actual sound which you are hearing. So there are 4 types of speech and words. Only one type of that is actually what you hear. So there are 3 more are there which are unheard, are not heard openly. So there are names also are given for all these things. Okay, para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. So vaikhari is the one actually whatever sound comes out of your mouth and others are able to hear. That speech is called vaikhari. But before you speak anything, 3 things are there. What are those 3 other things? Speech is possible only from a conscious being. Okay. So at least they deliberately, willfully, whatever we speak, that speech is coming only from a sentient conscious being. Consciousness has to be there. Everything is potentially there in this conscious being. That is the para. The para vak means whatever speech is there potentially in a conscious being, and then that potential words and speech which are there has to become an idea in your mind, correct? Pashyanti, you have to visualize. First it has to be visualized in your mind. You have to think about it. That is called pashyanti. So words can be thought about, ideated, visualized. You don't have to even speak it. Nobody need to hear it. It can just be, the speech can go, you can go through an entire speech in your mind, in your head, as we say. So all that is pashyanti. Madhyama means what? Then you start making effort. When you want to really talk to somebody, express it, you start making effort. The effort starts right from your stomach onwards, from the nabhi. That's where the air has to be collected from there and it has to be let out in a particular way by making particular effort. That's why in Sanskritam, when you study the grammar also, we talk about all this prayatna, bahya prayatna, antara prayatna and all that. So what kind of effort you have to put right from your throat onwards, correct? If you don't put any effort and simply open your mouth and say, the only sound you will get is ah, correct? Ah, you don't put any other effort. Okay, the only effort you put is you let the air out from your stomach through your mouth. Ah, that's the only sound you can give. But then ka, if I have to say ka, then at the level of my throat, I have to make a slight effort, correct? I have to bring 2 parts of my throat together, ka, then only ka will come. Then additionally, I have to put more effort, leave more air out, ka, ka, like that. Then if I make it softer, that effort, ga, then even there I put more air I have to give, ga. Like this, the way you give the effort, okay, based on that only all these sounds are coming. The sounds become words. Words have meaning. So like this, the whole thing comes into the picture, correct? So the manifest sound is called Vaikhari, which you can hear. Madhyama means it is still getting manifest through your body. And then once it manifests, it becomes Vaikhari, Vak. Like this, 4 types or 4 levels we talk about of speech and words. They are there manifest in different forms, correct? Now what we are saying, all these 4 are nothing but Ganapati because everything is there only in this conscious being. These are all appearances in this conscious being who is nothing but Ganapati. Tvam Chatvari Vak Padani. Then the Sankhya people, those who have this darshana called Sankhya, they talk about gunas. Okay, they talk about Prakriti, and the Prakriti is made up of 3 parts or elements called 3 gunas. Here, guna does not mean really a quality. Understand that. Guna in Sanskritam generally means a quality. So if you say a red rose, red is a quality of the rose. Rose is the substantive. Red is the quality. That is one meaning. But in Sankhya Darshana, when we talk about guna, guna is not a quality, it is or an adjective. It is really a noun here. So guna is a technical term, really. When we talk about 3 gunas, it is used in a technical sense. And they are actually Rajas, Sattva and Tamas. Or Sattva, Rajas, Tamas we say. In fact, even in Bhagavad Gita, there is a Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga is there. Okay. Bhagavan talks about these 3 gunas. In fact, Sankhya is there everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. But in a Vaidika form, okay, in the way it has to be understood properly, Bhagavan uses Sankhya, how Sankhya describes the whole world in terms of Prakriti and 3 gunas. Bhagavan actually uses the same terminology to explain things. So here, the 3 gunas are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Sattva means we normally associate it with light, knowledge, all these things, okay? And Rajas means we associate it with activity. And Tamas means we associate it with laziness, ignorance, inertia, you can say, okay, in general. And they even give some colors and all for these things. So, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So, 3 things are there in the Srishti. And if they are all in equilibrium, then there is no Srishti, in fact. According to the Sankhya, the Layam, when everything is resolved, these 3 gunas which make up the Prakriti, so which are all parts of the Prakriti. Prakriti is, you can say, Prakriti means nature. In general, Prakriti is translated as nature, but Prakriti here again is the stuff out of which this whole world is made of. It is the cause. It is the material cause. So the Sankhya presents Prakriti as the material cause of this entire world, of this universe. That material cause is made up of these 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And when they are in equilibrium, then there is no, it's all only in potential form. It's all unmanifest. Okay, nothing is manifest. But then the equilibrium is disturbed. Okay, because the jivas have karma and they have to then undergo the results of the karma, papa punya. So the equilibrium is destroyed, and then Rajas can become predominant. Then Srishti happens. Okay, like that, whichever one is predominant, accordingly certain things are happening. So the whole Srishti has come about now once that equilibrium is disturbed. And even within the Srishti, different things are all having these three gunas in different proportions. Okay. So that's how this whole world is looked upon, as a play of these gunas. Okay. These gunas are present in different proportions in different things, and that's how they are all different. Their differences is because of the way in which the gunas are manifesting in them, or in which proportion the gunas are. So in this manner, the whole world can be looked upon using this Triguna model again. We also talked about the 5 elemental model. Here we can also look upon the whole world as being made of these 3 gunas, going along with what the Sankhya Darshana proposes. So there is a Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. So everything in this world can be looked upon as predominant in one of these things. So the whole world is nothing but the interplay of these different gunas. And even in the 5 elemental model, we bring in this Triguna also. When we talk about Panchikaranam or Trivrit Karanam, like that in the Upanishad, Trivrit Karanam is there, we extrapolate and talk about Panchikaranam. There what we say, the physical world is called Stula Jagat, and Stula Bhuta, Stula Mahabhuta means when we talk about the physical world and space, the physical space itself is actually a mixture of the subtle space and all the other elements also. Okay, but the tamas part of all these things. So the physical world is looked upon. See, if you take the physical space is only 50% actual space. Okay, then 1/8 it is Prithvi, 1/8 it is Apaha, 1/8 it is Agni, 1/8 it is Vayu. So like that, the other half is made up of other elements, and that makes up, and also the tamas part of all these 5 elements only form the physical world. Similarly, if you take the physical wind, it is 50% pure wind. Okay, Tanmatra we call it. The element in itself is called Tanmatra in Sanskritam, or pure element. Then it is mixed up. Like even ornamental gold is not pure gold, correct? Pure gold is very difficult to make into ornaments. Although nowadays I think you get even 24 karat gold jewelry, but not much variety will be there. So you have to mix it a little bit with copper. Then only 22 karat only we have. Or in Western world you have 14 karat also. Although in India we don't really believe in 14 karat gold that much, but it is available. So you mix it with other elements so that it is malleable. It is easier to make jewelry out of it. Like that, according to our vision of how the creation has happened, even space, the physical space, physical wind, physical Agni are all not really 100% that element. They are actually mixture. That is what is called Panchikaranam really. And also there, again, when you talk about the physical world, it is the tamas aspect of all these 5 elements. Okay. Then we have prana, because the prana shakti is there, correct? Life. Prana, they translate it as life force and all that in English, but there is no real word in English for prana. Prana is the one which makes you alive, you can say. So prana means there is activity. Without prana, dead body only is there, correct? Dead body has no activity. It can decay, that's all. So for you to be alive and active, prana, that means it is rajas is the main thing there, correct? All the physical matter is all jada. That is why it is all inert. That's why it is all tamas. Makes sense, correct? And wherever life is there There rajas is there, activity is there, growth is there. That's all rajas pradhana. So the entire samashti prana, the totality of all the pranas have come from only, again, this rajas aspect of these panchabhutas. Even there pancha pranas are there. Okay, so they are all, again, they are talked about as coming from all these different elements. Then mind. Mind is where all knowledge takes place. Correct? Enlightenment, light. So that is from the sattva guna pradhana. The entire, whatever we call as mind, is born out of the sattva element of all these 5 elements, or sattva guna. The sattva part of this 5 elements only becomes your mind. So mind also is an elemental according to us. Understand that. Even now scientists are still debating whether there is something called mind or not. There are some scientists who are called monist, really. So normally the Advaitins are called monist. But there are some scientists are also there. They are also called monist. Why? They are a different kind of monist. They are called material monist. Material monist means what? They say only matter is reality. There is no other reality. Everything is matter. There is nothing called mind. Only some chemical reactions are all taking place, and that you think something is there, mind is there. But mind is only an epiphenomenon of matter. Like this, there is one thought is there among scientists also. So they don't know whether there is something called mind is there or not. Only there is a big discussion. Others are also talking about whether there is a mind. They say no, mind has to be there separately, because the effects of your thought are felt physically. If mind is only an epiphenomenon, it is not possible and all that. Okay. But even there are different arguments are there. But our Shastra is very clear. Mind is there, and mind is the part of the subtle body, and mind is also an elemental. It is made up of the sattva part of all these 5 elements in the Panchikarana. So 50% sattva part of space, akasha, and then other things like that. The whole sattva, this subtle world also is similarly through Panchikarana only it is made. The mixing up of the 5 elements. So like this, the tamo guna pradhana srishti becomes the physical world. Rajo guna pradhana becomes this whatever prana, individual prana and the total prana. And sattva guna pradhana, that which is predominantly sattva, becomes your mind, individual minds and total mind also. Like this, 3 gunas make up this entire srishti. This is one view. And Bhagavan says, Guna Guneshu Vartante iti matvana sajjate in Bhagavad Gita. The Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, again, same thing here. You can look upon the whole world, both the gross world, subtle world, everything as made up of 3 gunas. And everything, this entire worldly activities are all nothing but guna acting upon guna. Guna Guneshu Vartante. It's all a play of guna. But the jnani knows what? The guni, the one who is perceiving all these gunas. The jnani does not take himself as one of these gunas. Guna Guneshu Vartante iti matva, having known this, na sajjate, does not get involved in all these things, or does not get caught. A normal human being is caught in these activities of guna. You take the activities of guna as your own activity, correct? So you take the physical body as yourself. You take the prana as yourself. You take the mind as I. So you have all this vyavahara. I am tall, I am fat, I am dark, with reference to physical body. I am hungry, I am thirsty, etc. with reference to the prana. I am emotional, I am stupid, I am knowledgeable. All this with reference to mind. But none of these things are really you. They are all only activities of the guna. You are the shariri. You are the indweller of the body, to whom everything becomes evident. So the logic used here is very simple. Vedanta itself is very simple. This is the only analysis you have to do all the time. Whatever I know is not I. Okay, this thing you keep at it. So you know your body means you are not the body really. Okay, because I know that I am the knower, I am the subject. Body is an object of my knowledge. Whatever is an object of my knowledge, it is not I. I know I am hungry, therefore I am not the prana. I know whatever is happening in my mind, all the thoughts are appearing and it's becoming evident to me. I know my thoughts also, therefore I am not the thoughts or the mind or whatever emotions are happening in the mind. I am the conscious being to whom all these things are becoming evident. So this much you can arrive at. Okay. And then Vedanta comes and tells that conscious being is the only real being. That is the only thing which exists really. Everything is an appearance only in that conscious being. You are that limitless consciousness. So that is the teaching here. That is what is again shown here also. When we say this gunatraya atitaha, means Ganapati transcends all these three gunas. When we look at, when ignorant people look at the world, they only see three gunas. But the jnani sees only this Ganapati, who is transcending all these gunas, who appears as all these gunas also at the same time. So it is like seeing a sculpture of elephant. You take it as real elephant with different parts and all that. You can discuss about all these things. How beautiful the elephant is, how majestic it is, how long its trunk is, how beautiful it is, having it is tusk, ivory tusk, all these things. But at the end of the day, you find out it is all only wood. If you look at it as wood or stone, it is only stone, correct? All other things do not really matter. So like that means the actual reality has transcended the elephant and all the parts of the elephant. So the transcending is purely a shift in the way you look at it. It's a way you look at it as different. It is now different, correct? That is the transcendence we are talking about here. So the gunatraya atitaha. Similarly, avasthatraya atitaha. So there are avasthatraya, are there three states we all know: waker, dreamer, sleeper, waking, dreaming. So there is a waking world also is there along with the waker. Then there is a dream world along with the dreamer. And sleeping also, you have slept, world also has resolved there. Okay, both are, you don't know anything in sleep anyway. But world also must have been in a certain state, because when you wake up again, everything is there. Now these three avasthas are for whom? You think I am awake, I dream, I sleep, correct? But really, all these states are nothing but it's all states of mind only. Whether I am awake, I am dreaming, or I am sleeping, I am always the conscious being. When the mind is fully awake and is able to cognize the external world, we call it as waking. Even in waking state, Atma is the same Atma. It is revealing all the things which are happening in your mind. When the mind is half awake and it has projected an entire dream world, also the Atma is the same Atma. It is the conscious being which is actually making everything evident, to which everything is evident. In deep sleep also the Atma is the same Atma. It is the same conscious being, but there is nothing. The mind has resolved. There is nothing. There is no subject-object division. There is no active mind to objectify anything. But still you are there. That's why you can say, I slept, correct? I am still there as the same conscious being. And I can get up and say, I did not know anything. So the I is the invariable. Understand that. I as a conscious being is the invariable. The states can come and go. Along with that, the whatever the world, the subject is the waker and the world is the waking world. The object is the waking world. Subject again is the dreamer and there is a dream world which is object. So both the subjects and objects, whatever, in different states, and in deep sleep the subject-object division is gone into a potential state. It's resolved. But in all the states, the invariable is the conscious being. I, the conscious being, is the invariable. So I am separate from all these things. Even while they are there. Even while you look at the elephant, in reality only stone is there, correct? Once you look at it as stone, there is no elephantness in the stone, correct? Or in the wood. If you look at it as wood, there is only wood. The wood does not really even see the elephant. You only see the elephant where there is wood. From the standpoint of wood, wood alone is there always. Like that, I as a conscious being, I am the invariable, I am Satyam, I am there always, unchanging. All these appearances of the waking world, the dream world, everything is coming and going. It's all only appearance. It's not the reality. So that's why Atitaha. Atitaha means the one who transcends, one who appears, even though one who supports all these appearances. All these appearances are happening only in Ganapati. Ganapati alone is manifest as all these things also, if you look at it as one way. But if you look at it the other way, what? So you have to say the stone is manifest as elephant, or clay is manifest as pot. Pot is nothing but clay. But if you look at it as clay, there is no pot in clay. Clay is clay. In the clayness, there is no potness. In your understanding of clayness, there is no potness. But in your understanding of clay pot, there has to be clay. Understand that. Without the material, there is no effect. So, when you look at the three gunas, you have to say all the three gunas are nothing but Ganapati. But if you look at Ganapati, the Swarupa of Ganapati by itself, there are no three gunas, nothing is there real. Ganapati is Ganapati. Sachidanandam Brahma, Advitiyam. So the Atitaha word we have to understand properly. Similarly, Dehatraya Atitaha, Avasthatraya, when we talk about, we have to also talk about the three bodies. That's what I told you. There is a physical body, there is a subtle body, and a causal body also. So the physical body and subtle body are active in the waking. Then only the subtle body is active in the dream world. And both physical and subtle bodies are not active. They are all resolved. Only the causal body is there in deep sleep. So all these three dehas are there. But you are the dehi, the one who has all these bodies. Okay, the indweller in all these bodies is you, the dehi. And the dehi is eternal. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata. Like this, even Bhagavad Gita also talks about the dehi. In fact, this Brahma Sutra Bhashya itself is called Shariraka Mimamsa. That is because the Sharira is there. But the indweller of the Sharira is the Shariri. Correct? So the Shariraka Mimamsaka means, Mimamsa means what? The analysis into this body and the indweller of the body and arrive at the truth. That is why it is called an analysis of this body and the indweller of the body. Shariraka Mimamsa it is. So we have these three dehas, physical body. The subtle body includes prana and mind. Then the causal body, that is pure ignorance. Okay, that is also there. But you as a conscious being, you transcend all these three things. In fact, the problem is because of wrong identification with these three bodies. That is the problem. And also you are kalatrayatitaha. So time also is there. Past, present, future. Time is only Maya. Understand that. Why? Because you cannot even define now. First you define what is now, present. Then we can talk about past, future and all that. Because about the past also you have to talk only now. About the future also you have to talk only now. So let us try to understand now. How do you define now? Is it 1 minute, 1 second, 1 microsecond, 1 nanosecond? What is now? We cannot define that in fact. You can see that it is just a superimposition on the consciousness itself, on the awareness. So if you start analyzing time, there is no time really. You have to only end up with the conscious being, which is always there invariably. So time is just an appearance. In fact, it is a function of change. So space, time, both, if you analyze, our problem is what? We think we are in space, time, limited beings. I exist in space, time. That is the ignorant thinking. But what is the reality? Space, time is in you. That is the reality. You are the basis for the entire space, time. Space, time is in you. That we can understand from dream. The entire dream world, the space, time, however big it is all in you only. Like that, the same thing in this waking world also. Don't think in the waking world it is any different. You are not in space-time. Space-time is in you. You cognize the space-time as a conscious being, and therefore consciousness is the basis for the cognition of space-time. Space-time cognition also can come and go. Consciousness is always there. It transcends the space-time. Space-time is in consciousness, not the other way around. Okay, only bodies are there in space-time. Consciousness you cannot locate within space-time because it is limitless. So Ganapati is transcending this space-time also. That is our vision. Space-time is created, was told long back in the Upanishad. Shankara also writes in the commentary about that. But space is created was only scientifically people accepted only 100 years back. Correct? Otherwise they thought space is absolute. So there is nothing absolute about space-time. It is all created. It is all manifesting in you only as a conscious being. And this same Ganapati, if you talk about all this chakras, correct? So there are 7 chakras in the human body, And Ganapati is there in the Mooladhara Sthitosi Nityam. So Ganapati is the one who is there in the Mooladhara Chakra. He is the base for everything. He is the Adhisthana. So he is always there in the Mooladhara Chakra. And Mooladhara Chakra is presented as having 4 petals and all that. Okay, this is all for Upasana again. Ganapati is there in your Mooladhara Chakra. So these are all the things you have to understand. See, at one level we are saying Ganapati transcends space-time. Now we are locating Ganapati in the Mooladhara Chakra. So the context we have to understand correctly. This locating Ganapati in the Mooladhara Chakra and presenting Mooladhara as having all these 4 petals, these are all for you to visualize and do Upasana. Okay. So that is to help you understand the Swarupa of Ganapati only finally. So in the 7 chakra model, if you take, Ganapati is there in the Mooladhara. He is always present in the Mooladhara Chakra, which is at the base of your spine. Okay. Then there are other chakras are all there, up to the Sahasrara, which is at the top of your head. Then Agnya Chakra, like that. There are many are there. I don't want to go into that. Then Ganapati is also Shakti Trayatmakaha. So all the Shaktis. So we talk about Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. So Ganapati is the one who is manifest as all these 3 Shaktis also. All the power is Ishvara's power only. Sarva Shaktiman, correct? Ganapati is. So all the Shakti is Ganapati's Shakti. And all that is manifest in us also is nothing but an Amsha of that only. It's all from Ganapati's Shakti only. Whatever Shakti we have also is part of that. So our ability to desire is not ordinary. It's a great privilege. Understand that. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Dharma aviruddha kamosmi bharatarshabha. I am the desire in you, which is not opposed to Dharma. So sometimes those who come for spiritual pursuit, they always have this problem. How do I get rid of all my desires? Desire itself is not a problem. Understand that. Desire is a privilege. It is a power. Only you can desire for iPhone, Chinese food, whatever it is. A cow does not have that power. Cow cannot desire for iPhone or iPad or for Chinese food or anything. Whatever you give, it will eat. Okay. And it has a certain level of ability only, correct, to desire also and do. But we have the ability to desire a lot of things. So it's a privilege. But the privilege becomes a problem once you become a slave of your own desires. You are not the master, but you become a slave of your own likes and dislikes. So that is what one has to look at. Desire in itself is not a problem. Ambition in itself is not a problem. But if you are ready to do adharma to fulfill your desire, then it is problem. Dharma viruddha if it becomes. So Bhagavan only is manifest in you as desire also. Understand that. So there is no problem with that. All 3 Shaktis, the ability to know, the ability to do, the ability to desire, all these things are manifestation of Ganapati in you. And this Ganapati only is also, all the yogis are meditating on this Ganapati always. Yogino dhyayanti nityam. Yogis want to remove all the thoughts. Okay. And then rest. Drashtuhu swarupe avasanam. Rest in the swarupa of the one who is seeing all these things. That swarupa is nothing but Ganapati. Understand that. Okay. Chitta vritti nirodha. They want to stop all the activities in the mind and just rest as the in the nature of the knower. They want to stop the knower-known divide and just rest or be as the whatever is the basis for this knower and known. Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasanam. That also is Ganapati only. It's not separate from Ganapati. So all the yogis are striving to reach a samadhi means samyak adhiyate yasmin iti samadhi, like that Bhashyakara says in Bhagavad Gita, into which everything resolves. That Atma is samadhi really. That is Ganapati. And so yogis are also only trying to reach this Ganapati by doing all the dhyana which they are doing. Okay. And finally, Ganapati is all the devatas. Tvam Brahma, Tvam Vishnu, Rudraha, Indraha, Agnihi. Indra, Agni means all, they are all Upalakshana for all other devatas also. We talk about 33 crore devatas. Correct? All this 33 koti devata, they are all Ganapati only. They are all manifestation of Ganapati. You are also Suryaha, Pratyaksha, Chandrama also. Surya is the one who keeps everything active. Chandram, we think that Chandra also is the devata for nourishment. Chandra is the one who nourishes all the plants, and then plants only we eat and become human beings, then they are active and all that. Like this, everything is Ganapati only. That is presented here beautifully. And then to appreciate that is not very easy. So Ganapati Upasana is given. For those who are not able to appreciate this easily, you do Upasana of Ganapati first, and then you will understand. So that Ganapati Upasana we will see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.